Good morning, guys. We are heading across the lake. We're going to get in the Jeep and drive about 2.5 hours to go and do a podcast with a really cool guy named Jim BAIRD. The podcast is called BAIRD Country. You got to check it out. BAIRD, B-A, I'll put a link below. Jim is quite the explorer. He and his brother won alone, so they're also survivalists. He's canoed all the major rivers of Canada up to the Arctic and beyond. So we're really excited to be on the podcast. He's going to be interviewing me to tell our story, but I hope to hear a lot of his tales as well. So let's go. So along with his solo adventures, Jim also goes on some pretty awesome camping trips and canoe adventures with his wife and 2 boys. He's got 2 young boys, and one of the young fellas has some special needs, so they're just an incredible family. You got to check them out. There's actually they did a special on them on National Geographic, which I think is playing on the Disney Channel, so if you have that, it's pretty cool. And then they also have their own YouTube channel now, which is Jim BAIRD, Adventurous, and then Tori, his wife, has just started a YouTube channel called Tori Goes Outside. So we'll put all the links below, but they're a pretty awesome family, and we're looking forward to having a great chat with them. Who's that guy?
Hey, sweet ride, bud. You brought the ride, eh? Good to meet ya. Hello.
Carol.
Hey.
Hey, Carol. How you doing?
Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Yeah. Like I do a selfie and they're like, Jesus, Jim, crouch down. You're making me look short, eh?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Awesome. Your phone's off.
I give it to Carol, so it won't bother me.
Yeah, the other part that was fun about it is he's here. We're cooking up some moose burgers here, and they're going to be real good. So looking forward to it. All that podcasting is worked up
It's
an
exhausting.
appetite.
Yeah, you get hungry.
Yeah, we really do. Okay, flip that. Flip it.
Yeah,
Good job.
Well done.
Undo the other one. Get it right under there. Go push. Okay, bring it over here. Flip. Yeah,
Well
nailed
done.
it.
Good job. Those look good. Moose burgers.
This pad thai.
Ready?
Yeah.
We're gonna be on camera, Hudson.
Yeah.
This is your big day.
Debut.
Look at the camera. Smile.
Perfect smile.
Good job, bud.
Hey guys, I thought I'd introduce you to an awesome adventure family. Carol and I came down here today along the beautiful Magnetawan River to do a podcast with Jim, and that's called BAIRD Country, and I'm going to put links below to all their content. But we thought while we're here, we might as well introduce you to this family if you don't already know them. If you're into adventure and family adventure, the BAIRD family is the family to follow. I tell you what, they do some crazy stuff. So that's Hudson. He's just run off with Carol to go play. Wesley's over there.
Yeah.
This is Jim and his wife Tori. And yeah, I thought maybe you could just tell us a bit about who you guys are and what you're up to.
Well, we are just people that like to get out there, like to enjoy the outdoors. We love the bush. We like, living in a pretty rural area and spending time as a family on canoe trips. And also I do a lot of big solo canoe expeditions, winter camping trips, and stuff like that.
So where we're into vehicle-based adventures, you both are into canoe-based mostly. I mean, you do other things like trekking and...
Yeah, we've done a few big road trips or overlanding trips, across Canada, Trans-Labrador Highway, into Telegraph Creek, up the Alaska Highway in the winter.
Nice.
And so we've done a few kind of vehicle-based adventure trips like that, camping out of an off-road trailer and tents and stuff like that along the way, and just doing a bunch of other sort of outdoor adventure type things, fishing and whitewater canoeing and all that that kind of stuff.
So back, Jim and his brother did the Alone show, TV show where you survive alone for a long period of time.
Being out here is just kind of like an horrific feeling of torture. To just put your boots on is exhausting. I'm actually amazed with how far I can really push. So
you've got some survival skills that I'm sure are coming into play, but now you've got two young fellas. Wesley has some special needs, but man, is he ever a camping outdoorsman. If you watch some of their crazy adventures, he's out there with a big smile and just participating. Hudson is a natural-born explorer. Right? He'll just go. You guys have to keep an eye on him because he'll probably go hike a 5K without.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
So.
Mom, no, it's broken.
Oh, it's broken. Oh no.
It's broken on the floor.
Is that an octopus?
What is that?
No, it's broken on the foot.
Yeah, his little feet are broken. That's okay.
Oh wow.
So you recently did a canoe trip from Telegraph Creek, which is, we went out there, if you guys remember, in BC. It's really extremely remote town, village in the middle of
I
nowhere.
think the most remote in BC that has road access.
And then instead of turning around and driving out like us, you got in a canoe and you carried on down the Stikine River.
Yeah.
And that was an amazing adventure.
Yeah.
What was I mean, traveling with two young kids like that, camping, I mean, there's challenges. I'm sure it's also very rewarding. What can you tell us about life adventuring with the young'uns?
Tori, you want to jump into this one?
I feel like you can, it's nice because we have like our 18-foot canoe, so we can load a lot of stuff in there, and I often just bring as much as I possibly can for the kids because I'm the one to, you know, kind of be a little bit maybe over paranoid about things. So
a lot of that is extra warm clothes.
Yeah, like
diapers. You know?
I'd rather just be prepared than feel underprepared. Especially we had terrible weather on the Stikine, so I was grateful that I brought probably too many clothes. Like they did have enough dry clothes by the end of the trip, but yeah, I think just like if it's, you know, you're just getting into tripping with kids, I think it's just starting small and starting more local and figuring out what works, what doesn't work, and not kind of biting off more than you can chew.
Yeah, and over preparing, and you'd rather have a bit of food left over at the end than have not enough.
Yeah, and I think too when it comes to, you know, over preparing a bit, you might be fine 9 times out of 10, but at one time if you're not prepared and you get 8 days of straight rain, you know, freak windstorm and flooding and all that.
Blows away.
Right, so you know you got to be prepared for kind of a worst case scenario. And like, fortunately, I guess were the canoe blowing away thing I could have done without. Yeah, but
turned out all right.
Turned out all right in the end. Yeah. Right, Les?
So we were talking earlier on the podcast about traveling with if your children have challenges or special needs, just the outdoors seems to have to do something for them that you just can't get anywhere else, sitting inside or sitting in a classroom. How have you found that with Wesley getting out there?
Well, I mean, Wesley just, I don't know, he just seems so happy.
Yeah.
Like when we're bringing him on his trips, he's happy to be, first of all, just included in all the adventures.
Sure. Yeah.
Like he certainly doesn't want to be left behind. He's always just loved living up here and hearing the river and being outside. Anytime he was upset as a baby, I would just step outside and he would just totally calm down. Yeah. But I don't know, I think just, you know, his physiotherapist was mentioning because of him sitting in the canoe, just the movement on the water just builds that core strength and things like that. So
listening to the birds.
Yeah,
he really likes to listen to the birds in the morning. When we take him out camping, he'd be so happy, you know, and that's when you, in the morning, you hear like and whatnot, right? And so even when you do that, Wesley, so he's just all smiling. We realize that he just loves birds, and even the bird books. There was one where you flip over, you can press the button for the bird calls. Loves that, and he loves sitting by the fire. It's like his favorite thing in the world. Yeah, so he just loves being out there with us, and he doesn't seem to care too much if he's getting wet. Of course, we know how to keep them warm, right? So we know the proper layering and merino wool base layers, and we go through meticulously each exact pair of clothes. double checking what kind of material is, having a backup pair, right, in case everything gets wet. That's one of the things that kind of saved us on BC. We knew it was going to be raining, but we had good full body nude suits, I guess, for Met, right, Tori?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the trips that we choose also, like the ones that we've done so far with the kids, the longer ones, we choose areas that we know like a fairly easy escape route. So the Stikine is totally accessible by jet boat from beginning to end. So it's like, yeah, it might take them a while to get to us, but
you know you can get out if you
we can get out probably same day at any point if we needed to.
So even if we did lose our canoe and dump, you know, we got to shore, we could get a fire going and get help before we perished.
You carry like a Garmin or something.
In reach for sure. Satellite texting device and that kind of stuff. So we had a couple jet boat captains' numbers on speed dial.
That's nice.
Yeah,
so it's similar to what we do in that you can go into these pretty crazy situations, but you go prepared. You make sure. So if you're a young family, you want to do what the BAIRD family's doing or what we're doing, go for it. We highly recommend it, but go prepared. Make sure you put in place some safeties for your family. And then you can have peace of mind and you can go.
And I think for us, one of the good things that I've learned is just CPR or first aid stuff in general. I haven't really had to use it that many times in the bush, except for when I put an axe through the back of my head. That really came in handy. But I've used it on. I've had to give mouth to mouth to Wesley at our house here when he was choking from seizures, and another time when I was down in the States. You know, I saved somebody's life from just giving them mouth to mouth, which apparently you're not supposed to do anymore. You're supposed to jump to CPR all the time. But anyways, that worked, and I never even used it in the bush, but I'm sure as heck glad I knew it. Tori knows that. And then also just reading up on stuff, right? Knowing where you're going, understanding what a good map looks like, knowing how to read it, not overestimating the amount of time you can travel every day.
That's what we learned. Like, we thought we were really like, okay, we're giving ourselves a lot of time. We only need to be on the water for like max 4 hours a day on the Stikine. And even that, it was still pushing it. I mean, we also filmed the trip, so that does add a lot of time throughout the day, but just like chasing Hudson around, getting Wesley ready, packing up camp and moving to the next campsite, it takes so much time, right? So really, like, if you think you can travel, 20, 30 kilometers in a day without kids, I would dial that back by like half.
Right. Yeah, no, that's good.
More,
Absolutely. For sure. Don't bite off more than you can chew, and also just like roll with the punches. I remember the first trip we took Wes out on. It was pretty early in the season. It was beautiful. Bugs weren't out yet, and we looked at the map and we're like, okay, we're gonna get past this portage, and maybe we'll camp in this lake that has brook trout in it. And anyways, we ended up making it about a kilometer to the first island as Wesley was crying the whole time.
And we're like, all right, let's camp here.
We're camping here. We're like, bummer, right? But at the end of the time, at the end of the day, we had such an awesome time, and it just didn't really matter. That wasn't really what was important. And so we realized you just kind of got to roll with the punches a bit more when you have kids, and that's what makes it work.
Yeah. When your priority is having a good time with the kids. So like you said, if you don't make it to the camp you had planned, that's a good point. It's
what's your priorities, right? If you're out there on a fishing trip with your brothers and your buddies or something, and that happened, it would be kind of a flaw, right? But your priority isn't the same thing when you're out there with the kids, right?
Yeah, so and kids in general, like their priorities is just time together, and they don't care if you made it to the end or not. We just got time with mom and dad in the wilderness, so that's awesome. You did do a show with, was it National Geographic, which is available on Disney Channel?
Disney Plus. Disney Plus. What's the show called?
Home in the Wild.
Check that out. We'll put a link if we can. I don't know if we can put a link to Disney.
Yeah, you can put a link to Disney Plus. Yeah, so it's a Nat Geo show that's now streaming on Disney Plus. The show's called Home in the Wild, Wesley.
Yeah, buddy.
Wesley's in it. He's the star.
Yeah,
and Hudson definitely.
Hudson steals the show usually.
Yeah.
So that's a fun show to watch if you want to get to know them. But they also both have YouTube channels. So tell us about yours, Jim. It's Jim BAIRD Adventure.
Yeah, so my YouTube channel is Jim BAIRD Adventurer. Tori's is Tori Goes Outside, Tori. And mine, you're going to see just basically my life, but a lot of the more exciting parts of it, like the solo Arctic expeditions I do, you know, in the winter, the long solo canoe trips in places like the Yukon. I'm heading up to Northwest Territories this summer, and a lot of the stuff we do with the family, multi-day canoe trips and things like that, and also some of the things that we get up to around here, around our home as well. Yeah, and it's I think you'll enjoy it. It's a lot of fun.
You definitely will. We enjoy watching. And Tori goes outside. You do making maple syrup, anything, right? Like
my channel's like very, very new, and it does not have the production value that Jim's channel has, but I just thought it would be fun to kind of film stuff around the house and like behind the scenes, prepping for trips, because you don't really include that in your adventure trips. So
yeah, well, there's our date night going smelting the other night. Like she filmed that. It was super fun. Yeah, we had a big smelt fry up, and just all the kind of cool stuff that is part of our lifestyle, and that we've kind of learned as we've gone along too. And yeah, I love Tori. I like Tori's videos more than mine. I'm gonna be honest.
It's more of like just the kids around the house and like the projects we get up to around the house and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, it's very, very enjoyable to watch. Jim, what's one of your craziest adventures? I know there's been a bunch.
Well, I was on a loan and survived for 75 days through the winter, late fall, winter in 2016, 2017. It wasn't my merriest Christmas of all time. That was probably one of the most, you know, hardest mentally and just physically through pain. But as far as like a hardcore athletic pursuit and remote and challenging, probably my 36-day solo winter trek across Arctic Quebec. So I walked from the Hudson Strait to Hudson Bay, visited Pingualuit Crater along the way, and followed the Pavungnatuk River. And that was a tough trek. Like it was I think almost 400 kilometers. I hit blizzards. I had over 9 days of blizzards where I just couldn't travel. I couldn't go anywhere. I had to stay hunkered down in my tent. That was me and my dog Buck. By the end, I was running out of food because of all the time the blizzards had sucked up, which maybe I should have known about in hindsight, but there's only so much gear I can haul.
Right. Were you towing a sled?
Towing a sled, that's right, yeah, Polk. And I was towing one and my dog was towing one too. And yeah, and so at the end, the last few days, I had to broke out the maps. I decided I had to cut my dinners and my breakfast in half, and I had to bang off about 22 kilometers a day. And if I was going to make it before I ran out of food, very hard to get food there at that time of year. And I did it. It was an awesome feeling.
You're here talking about it, so you made it.
I am, yeah. The same year I went on a loan too. And the other one I also did was a 33-day canoe expedition across northern Quebec and Labrador. But it was via 4 rivers, via 4 rivers. The DePaul, an unnamed river, the George River, which we went up, and we continued up from its headwater lakes and connecting streams all the way to the Haida Land, the Labrador border, and went down the Adlatock from source to sea, and then paddled along the Labrador Sea to Hopedale, which was just, it was honestly a super physically demanding trip. We had 2 portages, no trail, that lasted over 2 days each of just like hardcore going.
Just bushwhacking.
Yeah, and using compasses. But on one of them, we actually, to get around this huge canyon, we actually followed a chain of lakes in part, and that would actually create a longer distance but less overall carrying. We were just using compasses and map and compass. Through all of that, we actually survived off of for about 1/3 of our calories, just living off the land through berries, through fishing, and through wild geese that we were hunting, which is in September. So the season for goose was open, but it was also cold at that time of year. Yeah, so that was just the fishing and the scenery, and the whitewater was just wild, and the upriver tracking was tough, but looking back, it was really cool to just get a real feel for the way the land lies, and for how elevation directs water, and have to kind of use that to not fighting it, but using it with you as much as you can, even when you're upriver traveling. So yeah, that was amazing. Yeah. What about the Natashquan, Tori?
Oh yeah, the Natashquan. That was my first multi-week canoe trip. So
East Natashquan.
East Natashquan. So it was northern Quebec. We started on Lac Fontenot, and the river kind of goes north a little bit and then back down. So we went into Labrador just for like 2 days. But we had how long was the portage? 2.5 days?
Well over 2 days.
So it was a 6 kilometer portage through like an old burn, and this river hadn't been traveled for many, many years. So there was no like well-worn portage trail. And a forest fire had been through there, so it was down trees, and it took us 2.5 days to do this portage, and it was the hardest portage for me to this day.
How were
and,
the
like,
black flies?
Black flies were, I mean, they were nothing compared to the portage, but they were horrible.
Pretty deadly.
They were, yeah.
What time of year was that?
When was it? July? When did it go?
Probably July,
Yeah.
July,
It's peak
August,
black
summer.
fly season.
Yeah, it was.
Might have been a
yeah.
little after peak, but it was pretty bad. Yeah.
Well, if you want to see adventures like that and more, check out the YouTube channels that we're linking below. What's your next adventure?
Well, my next adventure, my next big adventure, is I'm going to solo the Hood River, which basically dissects the mainland barren grounds. Yeah, that's a 3-week solo trip. I also will have see the world's largest circumpolar falls and finish on the Arctic Ocean.
Wow.
So yeah, there's supposed to be meter-long lake trout. There's class 3 rapids. Chance to even see a caribou migration.
So that's up in Northwest Territories?
This is it's actually majority of the route's actually in Nunavut, but the whole trip is staged out of Northwest Territories out of Yellowknife.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then me and Tori and the kids. Why don't you explain about that?
So we're heading up to the Yukon again this year. Again? No, we went near the Yukon last year. That's why.
Last year, right.
You're close enough.
Well,
Just
we've been to the
Yeah.
Yukon in the winter.
We have, yeah. So we're actually going in the summer this time. I've never been to the Yukon in the summer. We're paddling the Big Salmon River.
Okay.
So we're going to be staying in an off-grid cabin we're probably going to be up there for like about 6 weeks or more, but we're doing 2 weeks on the Big Salmon with the kids. And then Jim's doing about a week-long hunt. And then I'm going on a week-long hiking trip in Kluane National Park.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, and then we're probably going to stick around there. We're going to stick around there for another week and do like local ATV trips and stuff with the kids.
Get around with the quads in the mountains there, maybe go horseback riding and just enjoy the cabin, maybe get out on the lake. But tell them about what you're doing in Utah.
Oh yeah, I'm leaving next Friday for the Green River in Utah. So just the Flatwater Canyon, so there's no portages. It's just, I'm leaving family behind. So it's myself and 3 other,
Jim may or may not be still around when you get back.
Yeah, I know.
The house may be burnt to the ground.
We'll see how it goes.
Run into a pile of ashes.
Yeah. The Green River and is that south, like you're starting somewhere in Moab area? Or?
Yes, we're flying into Moab and then we're putting it at Mineral Bottom.
Okay.
So it's below, I forget what the other canyons are called, but I guess there's a bunch of whitewater canyons before it, and then we're finishing like right at the confluence of the Colorado
That's
River.
as a road down to Mineral Bottom.
Yeah, it's like another, I guess maybe you've driven that one. To
I don't know
Mineral
that one in particular. We've been all through southern Utah,
Okay.
so probably. But yeah, the canyons there and the Green River and that whole area is just spectacular.
Oh, I can't wait. It's going to be so beautiful.
It'll be fun. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and be sure to check out all the links below. And Jim, thanks.
Thank you, man.
And
Thank you so much.
We just had moose burgers here, and we got some of their maple syrup, so we're happy. Carol and I are gonna hit the road now and get back crossing the lake before it gets too dark. So thanks for having us, and hopefully we can get together again and maybe even do an adventure together.
Oh, that'd be great. And it's actually been a lot of fun, man. We're really glad you could come hang out and that you brought Carol.
Yeah, I'm glad she came.
Yeah, and all that. So.
Perfect.
Thanks
awesome.
a lot.
Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
What's your
That was
name?
fun.
Yeah, that was nice.
Hi, I'm Hudson.
And how old are you, Hudson?
I have a turtle. Okay.
Okay, ready? Let's go.
Ah,
Oh no!
Ouchie got fire.
Oh no, here, I help you to the rescue. Let's go. We can do it. Ready? Oh no! I fell into icy water.
Ah, oh.
What's your dog's name?
But my snort.
Yeah?
That's North. You'd be good friends with Lana.
Peekaboo! I see you.
3 or more years. Wow. You know, and finally they just abandoned ship because they're all like starving on rations. We're talking
Yeah.
about history of exploration.
That's a good topic. You'll have to talk to our boys.
I will.
They would love to meet you guys.
I'll
Definitely
take
check them out and give them a follow. So I love this family and I believe you guys will too. So take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.